Right. Apparently, I caused a lot of people upset on Twitter with my pronoun observation, and they just can't articulate why. So I will repeat the question. If a trans woman is a woman, then why wouldn't they just play with a female character? Apparently, I caused a lot of people upset on Twitter with my pronoun observation. No one cares what to save you. Where am I open? There must be a place. Ah, here we go. Oh my god. Yeah, so, sorry about that. But, I haven't got a straight answer yet. Like if you have an RPG, right? It's not like real life. You get to choose whatever you want to play. Now they will say, well, yeah, but like gender is the spectrum, and I will say, like sure, but I don't think like an RPG can accurately represent all the spectrum of the genders, right? Like if you're a demi-fox or something, it's kind of difficult for an RPG to put that in. But yeah, so it's an interesting thing. I'm still waiting for an answer though. Like why exactly do RPGs have pronouns when a trans woman can just play as a woman, a trans man can play as a man? Like, don't you want to be recognized? The interesting thing is, like, this is what I've been told. It's like there are some people out there, and this is what a trans person told me. They said this. There are some people out there which do not want to do the surgery. They do not want to like fully transition. So for those people, they have the pronouns. And I'm thinking like, well, hold on a little bit, right? Like they don't want to make that decision in real life because obviously it's scary, can be painful. Having your dick chopped off is something that's irreversible. I get it, right? But like it's a video game, like you literally have the opportunity to role play as whatever gender you want. Like I role play as a woman many times, and I don't identify as such. So it is something that I've yet to be explained on why this is. Abdi Muhammad is back into the chat. I haven't seen him in quite a while. So let's just get into the news. Apparently in Germany, like this is my favorite topic of the day, like the nation of Germany. Did you know, like, okay, so I'm making a video game, which is pretty much like doing a painting, right? Like it's an art form. Apparently, if I want to sell it in Germany, they have a commission of experts. And you have to pay them, I think it's like 5,000 grand so that they can inspect your video game, right? Like they will use their expertise into video gaming to inspect your game before they allow the German public to have access to your work of art. They literally have state-sponsored censors. I mean, I thought that is Germany, not China. But then again, I may have been wrong, So if you pay them 5 grand, that doesn't guarantee that your game gets approved, by the way. So I'm not going to pay them, which means that people from Germany come buy my game. It is unfortunate. I guess my game is not going to be available in Germany and China. I also, like, why do they need 5 grand? Like, what the fuck do they have the need for so much cash? Like, do they need to take narcotics while reviewing my video game? Like, why exactly can they justify, like, 5 grand per title? Holy shit. Yeah, it's a 5 grand for a consideration. They get to consider it. Of course, like, AAA titles pay for it, but, I'm not going to enforce this, I'm not going to even bother. I mean, if you want your fascist shit, like, have your fascist shit. It's annoying when Germany gets to call other European countries authoritarian, and when you look at, like, okay, a video game? Like, really? A video game? I see. Naruhodo. And it's not even like an ESRB thing like the Americans have, where, you get a rating, and I think like the ESRB just gives you a rating for free, like you don't have to pay anything. What is my game about? Asian horror. Like it's a horror game with Asian influences. But I like, even if I was to have Tetris or the Snake game that chases dots on the screen, I wouldn't fucking pay to the Germans anything. It's like, why would they get my money? For what? Like, honestly, for what? 5 grand? Are you insane? Like, that's a lot of cash. Like, you're destroying the indie industry. At least if they would be like, okay, so if you have, like, a studio with this amount of people, it's 5 grand. If you're, like, just one independent developer, which made the game, it's less. Like, that would make more sense. Well, actually, not having a censor to begin with would make more sense. But it is what it is. It's a shakedown. Nice game you have there. Give us 5k and we might consider letting it into the country. Yeah, pretty much. There are ways around it. Apparently if you like give a city key on Steam to someone, they can actually bypass it. I think GOG bypasses it. So it's, you know, like there are certain platforms which I don't know how they manage, but they have access in Germany, and I think it's like to the German citizen whether or not they download it. I do know like the swastika thing was like actually a big issue in Germany, and we're not talking about like the Nazi symbol, but the Buddhist symbol. Like there have been mangas which have the Buddhist symbol, but because it looked like a swastika, or I think like it actually is, like that's where it originally comes from, people got into legal trouble. And again, like the German people are the ones that are lecturing the rest of Europe. Like I know about their past, I'm fucking aware. But like don't come to me and say like a fucking manga is going to bring back the Fourth Reich. Like come on, you're being ridiculous. It's just a fucking drawing. Get over it. Well, same in my country, you know, like, if you have a hammer and sickle, people are going to freak out. Also, I seem to remember that a dude who was art rejected ended up fucking Europe. You wouldn't think they would believe like that. Yeah, really interesting, because it's interesting how that works. Hey V, I've heard about Russian drones crashing in Romania. I hope it isn't close to your place. I gotta say, I didn't even hear about that. Like, that's how close to my place is. I've not even heard that Russian drones have crashed in Romania. Even so, like, it's very unlikely that I would actually have like a Russian drone landing on my house or something. No, the only problem that I have here is still the one with the stray dogs, and apparently like more and more people from my place are being upset about it, because again, like let me tell you what's happening, right? Because I actually got involved with the community now. Like I'm with the community, so there are 30 dogs, 30 of them, right? Which are feral. Like, they do not belong to anyone. They have acted very aggressive towards people, and they're literally on the streets, right? So, normally, you can't do anything against them, right? Like, you can't put them to sleep, and I'm not talking about killing them. I'm talking about, like, literally using an anesthetic so that they fall asleep, and then you put them in a cage and you transport them elsewhere. Like, that's illegal. You're not allowed to transport them anywhere else. Okay. You're not allowed to hurt them in any way, shape, or form. You're not allowed to move them, right? So, what can you do? What can you do? Well, apparently you're supposed to call the mayor. Or, you know, the authorities. The authorities don't do anything, right? Like, the authorities just don't come. So what ended up happening is that a guy, I think it was actually a kid, I think he was like 16. A 16-year-old kid got bitten by the dogs. It happened yesterday. Like, I've been talking about it 2 days ago. Yesterday, a kid got bitten by the dogs. Turns out, it's not just that kid. It's like a lot of people that are bitten by them. He wasn't antagonistic or anything. He was on a bike, and the dogs just jumped him, right? So, like, he had, like, a really nasty gash wound that required stitches and hospitalization. Like, anyway. So, he goes to the mayor's house. So, he goes to the city hall, files a complaint against the city hall, because it's the mayor's job to get rid of the dogs, right? So, files a complaint against the city hall, files a complaint with the police. Do you know what the mayor does? The mayor sends a couple of tax inspectors to his house to see if he paid all of the taxes, to see if the roof is being placed properly and that type of shit. So basically, like, the moment someone actually filed a complaint against the mayor started persecuting them. It's fucking unreal. I genuinely, like, do not understand why it is such a problem to resolve this issue. Like, the way this issue is supposed to be resolved is that the dogs are being taken and they're sent to the dog catcher. In Romania, we do not put them to sleep. They castrate them and then they release them back into the wild. Castrated. And when the dog is castrated, it's less aggressive. It's a lot more prone to laziness. And it's not as likely to bite people. It's simple as, right? But for some fucking reason, it just won't happen, so... Can I vote him out? Well, a lot of people want to. Like, this isn't just the only problem that he's doing. The problem is corruption. Like, a lot of people are accusing him of stealing funds. So either it's corruption or he's incredibly lazy. Anyway, I'm from Germany. Oh, Deutschland über alles. And I really want to play the game. So is there any way to get the game outside of Steam? Not sure if you can give me a copy somehow. When I'm releasing the game, if you're a German, you can DM me and I will give you a CD key. For free. Like, the thing is, I can't stop piracy. Alright? Like, I know it's going to happen. I know people are going to pirate my game. I expect it. But take into account that if you guys want a sequel, like if you like the game and you want a sequel, I need to break even. It's a very expensive game to make. I think it's going to cost me around $30,000 to $40,000. So if I don't get at least the money back, I'm not even looking into a profit or anything. If I'm not even getting a return on investment to at least close to the amount that I put in, then I'm not going to make a sequel because, look, I can't afford it. Like, most of it comes from my pocket, so it is what it is. When does the game come out? I want to buy it for my friend and I. Also pricing. It's probably going to be like $90, like $19, right? 19. Just so we're clear. Like this is how much it's going to cost. I'm trying to make it so that it has enough content as if it's a $50 game. So it's going to have like a lot of stuff to do, and hopefully you guys will like it. But I don't think it's expensive, especially with the inflation and stuff. Unless things change, unless like the prices go up, I still plan on selling it for that much. Well, of course I'm looking for profit, but it is what it is. I hope that at least I manage to get as much as I invest on it. Yeah, $90 is a steal. No, I need to have like I need to have a lot of microtransactions and subscription fees, and if you buy the digital edition, you get to play it 2 weeks earlier. You know, like that type of shit. Yeah, I need to make like a digital version. That's what I need to do, like the deluxe edition. And if you buy it, you get to play the game 2 weeks earlier. Yeah. No expansion, just DLC. You get like $5 DLC where you only get like a couple of costumes. Maybe if you're lucky, you get like some new voice lines. And like $45 DLCs in total. Like, you just... That's the monetization, right? You know, I actually had people that were telling me, apparently my publisher is saying, if you do not make 3 times what the base cost is, I'll be surprised. I don't know, like, the only thing I'm worried about is not the quality of the game, is the marketing. Like, I do not know how you can market this type of games. Like, you're not really allowed to give any link or any way that people can get it off on YouTube, right? So I can't use my YouTube channel to really market it, you know, besides like just vaguely talking about it. Like, that's fine, you're not breaking the rules. But like, if I were to get like, okay, this is the link, this is where you can download, that's a big no. So I can't use YouTube. I can't use, like, I can use Twitter, I guess. And that's pretty much it. But we'll see, you know, I'm just hopeful that people will like it. Like, right now, I just want to make a game that I enjoy. And if I enjoy it, then hopefully others will. How come they don't do demos anymore? I think I can do a demo. That's fine. I can do a demo. Yeah. Sponsor Sargon. That would be interesting. Have Sargon talk about it. Right. So anyway, let's talk about Germany. Germany is yet again Germanizing. Every single time I look at Germany, like, the politics are so foreign to me. Like, my fucking god. You know, there should be a game that people play, Germany or China. And you get like a legislation and you have to guess, is it from Germany or is it from China? You can actually expand this game. You know, there should be an expansion pack. Germany, China, or Russia. You know, and then you can... Although it's kind of easy to figure out, because like when you say a country has passed out a bill to phase out oil and gas heating system, is it Germany or China? You know, it's kind of easy to figure it out. But it's authoritarian as fuck, isn't it? So, yeah, apparently, Germany wants to ban any type of heating that uses gas or oil. I mean, this is maximum, this is peak Germanizing, isn't it? Like, what I find interesting, they will talk about how the AfD is radical, right? They're extremists. And I don't know what's more fucking extreme than banning gas and oil. I just want to point out that there were a couple of neighbors of mine that actually have electric heating. My god, the price that they had to pay last winter. Holy fucking shit. I will give you the fact that, you know, Germany is not as cold as Eastern Europe. Like, it's a little bit warmer even during the winter. But come the fuck on. Like, you're asking people to pay a ridiculous amount of price. And I just want to tell you something else, right? Like this is with a lot of houses. Apparently the EU is trying to pass an expropriation bill. I haven't really looked into it. But what they're referring to is that old houses that can't have like modern heating installed, they can't be sold anymore or some shit like that. It's just, I haven't looked into it, but it sounds ridiculous and Chinese enough that I do think that the EU would have passed it. So what is the thing with the heating, right? So assuming you can't find the gas stove anymore, right? Like 20 or 30 years pass and there's no place that you can get a gas stove. Okay, well, if you buy a house right now, you're going to leave it to your kids, right? So when your kids inherit your house, like if you inherit your grandma's house, most of the time it has a gas stove. Now let's say you want an electric stove. Holy fucking shit, it's not like just you take one and you put it in a socket. Like, most of the time, because of the high amount of electricity required, it needs to rethink the entire housing electrical system. So now you need to hire an electrician, which in my country was very difficult to find when I did it in my apartment. So you need to hire an electrician. You need to hire a construction team. They need to break the entire fucking walls, rearrange the electrical wires that were done since the Romanian Communist Party was in power. And back then, grandma used to have like a television set and a refrigerator in her entire fucking house, right? Now you have a high-end gaming PC, you got a modern refrigerator, you got the television set, you got the electric stove, you got your air conditioning, which maybe you won't get it for long, but hopefully, you know. Like, basically, you have a lot more consumption, so you need to have like different ways of making the electrical current flow through your house. And a lot of people can't afford it. It's expensive. You have to crack the walls. You have to put in new cables. You gotta do all of this shit. And then the electrician, it can cost you around $10,000. Right? So, like, not everyone can afford this shit. The government isn't going to hand you the bill. Because the electrical stoves aren't that fucking bad, by the way. They're not that awful. Like, they do their job. Some people say that the food tastes different. I think the food actually tastes better because these electric stoves, like, they monitor the heat and they make sure that it comes from a uniform place. And I mean, like, if you get like a high-end expensive electric stove, it's probably better than one with fire. Like, that's fine. But, like, come on, you know, like, give people a break. Like, you're expecting everyone to pay around $10,000. It's ridiculous. So I guess, like, the only solution is, like, when you get to have grandma's house is to sell it, right? Like, you're not going to be able to live in it. I guess, like, the person that buys it is the one that's going to have to make the repairs and the renovations. So, you know, it's to disincentivize people from owning property, I guess. No, unironically, like, I think this is what it is. It's to disincentivize, like, there's already few property owners, right? So, like, when you inherit property from grandma, if you can't put an electric stove in it, you have to sell it. So you're going to sell it, and someone else with money is going to buy it, and they're going to put the electric stove. But unfortunately, you're not going to be a property owner now. Regarding the previous video, I think the game developers are not doing proper diversity or representation. You don't see NPCs gratifying themselves on the square as you enter a town or chasing pets. I don't understand this. You don't see NPCs gratifying themselves on the square as you enter a town or chasing pets. Sorry, I wish I understand what you said, but like congratulating themselves? Saying that they're stunning and brave? This is what you're talking about? My mom got an induction thing a few years ago and it's insane. I like my induction stove. It's really good. I'm not saying it's bad, but like it took me a lot of money in order to put it in. Right? So like when I made the house, like I bought a new house. This was already made for the electric thing, so that's fine. But when I inherited the apartment from my grandparents, who didn't end up having any kids, so like I got their apartment, I had to remodel. And when I remodeled the apartment, when I refurbished it, it was so fucking expensive, and I insisted that we get an electric stove. And it was very expensive just to have like the entire electrical wires made. Cooking with a literal fire stove is the truest experience. Well, know, like, it is what it is. The thing with the induction stove is that the food heats a lot quicker. So I think, like, water even boils faster. Like it's probably not half as fast, but, like, 75% faster. Sorry, 25% faster, I would say. And the heat goes in a uniform fashion. Like, it's not from bottom to top, like in a normal gas stove. It's from all around, right? So, like, you get the heating from all around the pan simultaneously. So it's a lot better. But anyway, your grandparents, not my grandparents, my godparents, right? So my godparents didn't have any kids. The godparents are the ones that, in an Orthodox tradition, when two people get married, you get, like, the godparents. And they're the ones that watch over your family or whatever. Anyway. No, I didn't create a paradox. I misspoke. So I meant like this. Right? Not grand. God. I may have misspoken. But anyway, right. So, let's talk about Hassan Piker. Hassan Piker recently has traveled to Mexico. He's in the land of the Latin. And he's experiencing a couple of technical difficulties. Let me see if I can... Oh, shit. Did I close it? Oh, fuck. Please tell me I didn't close it. Ah, my God. I closed it. Hold on. I think I know how to find it again. Because it's absolutely hilarious. I love it when a left-leaning person travels abroad. Like, when a left-leaning person makes contact with reality, that's mwah. It's ushi-kushi. He's currently complaining that he's getting fucked in Mexico because people are overcharging him. Yeah. So, apparently he didn't even want to go to Mexico, and only did it because his mom wanted to swim in the waters. Hassan thought that Mexico wouldn't fuck him over because he thought that tourism was valued. The socialist thought he would be treated like a king compared to the Mexican peasants. Oh my fucking lord. It's actually quite the opposite. Like, when you go into a low trust... Oh, I found it. Holy shit. When you go into a low trust society, and this is similar to Romania, like, a lot of countries that rely on tourism, you gotta understand, like, those individuals, right? Like, the taxi drivers, the hotel owners, the restaurant owners, when they get tourists, it's usually for, like, 3 months a year. So that's when they need to milk the tourists dry. Like, they need to milk you for the other 8 months. 9 months. 9 months. I'm a doctor, not a mathematician. But yeah, they need to milk you for around 9 months. So they're going to be very aggressive with the pricings, with everything. Because, again, like, if they don't make a lot within 9 months, they starve. So, not only are you going to see, like, legit business people, you know, like hotel owners, restaurant owners, the ones that we talked about, but you're also going to see scammers. You may see, like, people that are trying to con you. And this is the individuals that apparently Hassan Piker is now interacting with. So, as you can see here, I've gotten into 3 fights so far. I'm not making it alive. Like, the only reason you can make it into a fight is if you go into a place and you talk shit. Or when shit is talking to you, you don't have the street smarts to shut the fuck up. Like that, okay? Like I lived in a neighborhood with people from all walks of life, like I love to brag about, but unironically, it is what it is. Like, when someone talks shit to you, you have a couple of questions that are going into your head. Number 1, can I take him? Number 2, if I try to take him, does he have friends? Can he summon allies? Right? Like, does he have a summoning spell? Number 3, what do I obtain if I take him? Right? Like, should I take him? That's another question, right? And depending on the answers on these questions, you decide if you get to talk shit back. Because that's the thing, right? Like when you talk shit back, you need to defend yourself. Because you don't know who you're dealing with. You may be dealing with a crazy person. You may be dealing with a person that wants to prove to his friends that he's a macho man. And if that's the case, if you have like an individual that just wants to prove to his friends that he's a macho man, simply walking along and not interacting with him is enough to end the confrontation. So again, you know, like the only problem is like when it's in your neighborhood and you need to prove to your friends that you're a macho man, and another person has to prove to his friends that he's a macho man. Okay, well then you're fucked. Like then it's on. But at least you have your friends, right? And he has his friends, so this is probably one of the main reasons that fights break up in neighborhoods. But usually the best thing to do when someone talks shit is to keep moving. You don't stop, you don't talk with people, especially if it's a low-trust society. There is absolutely no fucking reason why anyone should talk to you on the street, ever, under any circumstance. If you don't know them, you don't talk to them. This is like the golden rule of travel. Americans, listen up. If you're going to a country that's not America, or if you're traveling to California, which is almost like not America, or New York, or you know, like one of these places, like what I want you to do is to listen to me. If a person on the street that you don't know talks to you, you move along. There is no reason on God's given earth that a stranger should talk to you on the street. None whatsoever. No good can come of it. I don't care if they're asking you for the time. I don't care if they're asking you for help. I don't give a shit. Keep fucking moving. That's a good way to get punched in the back of the head. Like what? Like don't you know to look behind? I mean, if the person is, okay, let's assume that this is what you're talking about. Like let's assume we're visualizing this. Let's assume that someone on the street is calling your name and is like, yo, gringo, yo, okay? And you keep walking. If that person comes to hit you in the back of the head, do you honestly think that if you had stopped and had a pleasant conversation with him, it would have gone somewhere pleasant? Because like, the way you're describing, if the person was about to hit you in the head, and you keep walking, I mean, the conflict couldn't have been avoided either way. Hit you in the back of the head. The problem is like when you stop and you tell that person, it's like, yeah, sure, what do you want? You're on his turf, you're on his territory. He can now intimidate you to get you to travel to a back alley or something. But at least if you keep walking, you know, it's less likely that he's going to try to stir up anything. So, no, I'm sorry, but my opinion still stands, which is if anyone calls out to you on the streets, you should keep walking. All right? Like, there is no reason why you stop. And when you keep walking, you of course, try to see where that person is. Are they following you? Right? If they're following you, then you're into big trouble. Like, there's nothing you can do about it besides expect for a confrontation. The best thing to do, of course, is to keep walking, and, you know, if they follow you, you turn around and you face them. But then, the time for conversation is over. It's the time for action. Alright, so, let's see what, yeah, no habla. No habla is actually good. Yeah, no habla. But the problem is, if you know habla, they can speak English, and then you're also fucked. And then you can be like, well, no speaking English. No habla, no English. No habla, no English. But yeah, no, it's basically a good idea to definitely stay out of fights, right? Because like, here's the thing. There is no reason why you would ever fight someone else in another country. Like, under any circumstance. Unless they disrespect your wife or some shit, but even then, right? Like, you're not there to start fights. The problem is, when you start a fight with a local, the police is always going to side with the local. The local knows the language. The local knows the cops. The local knows that, right? Why the fuck would you ever get yourself in the situation that Hassan has gotten to, where he got into 3 fights? I know many people who went to Mexico and they haven't gotten into any fights. Then again, there are people who go to Mexico and they get kidnapped. It's called, I think it's like terror tourism or something like that. I mean, it is possible. Sylvester Stallone made a movie about it. It's Rambo. Last Blood. Good shit. First guy on the taxi union. What do you mean like the taxi union? Like he's talking like the regular cabs, I think, like the yellow ones. The taxi union. Is that how it's called in Mexico? Or is like Hassan using socialist language to confuse me? The guy on the taxi union tells me it's $55. He moves over to the second taxi table. He raises it to 7. Then gets mad when I explain to him that the first guy said 55. I'm Turkish. I know I'm paying the foreign tax, but holy shit. No, you're American. Fuck does it mean you're Motherfucker, you can be from the same fucking country. Jesus, this guy is detached from reality. Holy shit. You can literally be from the same country. Like they do the same in my country. They do the same in Bucharest. Like if I from Iași, which is, you know, in eastern Romania, go to Bucharest, they will try to swindle me as well. Do you think they give a fuck? If you're like a foreigner, or do you think they're very polite with the locals, huh? Do you think like they really, yeah, like he's Turkish, yeah, and it's so fucking visible that the Mexican guy knows. Yeah, the taxi cab driver, 23 and me him on the spot. They looked at him and it's like, you Turkey. I bet they can't even point on the map where Turkey is. Unironically, like if I were to take a world map, like most Americans can't either. There are Romanians who can't. Like if I go to the taxi driver in Mexico with a map and I ask him like, where is Turkey? He probably doesn't fucking know. He's probably going to point to Italy, isn't he? You're from Iași too. Congratulations. Now sit down and shut up. He summoned a Turkish horse ranch in his boy. Yeah. The gringo tax. I don't even think it's a gringo tax. I literally, well, maybe it is a gringo tax. Like if you're going to go to Mexico and you're going to dress like $1 million, I mean, people will assume, rightfully so, that you have money, right? Holy shit. Like, no, seriously, like, this is another lesson, right? So, Americans, travel lessons 101. There's no fucking reason why a stranger on the street should talk to you. Number 2, do not dress in an extravagant manner when you go. And by the way, by extravagant manner, I don't necessarily mean like have the Rolex watch. Don't dress like an American. Okay? Like no polo shirt, no expensive attire. You know, like, I just need to remind people, Americans are some of the richest people in the world, okay? What you think is poor is extravagant for other people, so you need to tone it really down. Like, really down. And once you toned it really down, you need to tone it down some more. And then you go to Mexico. Like, it's so my fault. Like, do you think, like, other people do not understand that you have money just by the way you dress? But like, okay, let's look at Hassan Piker in a normal picture. Right. So this is like Hassan Piker on his Wikipedia page. I got it from there so that you guys don't say that I'm like purposefully looking for. This in Romania would be rich as fuck, obscenely wealthy, beyond imagining. Okay, so you have your hair done. Like I think like this alone is like $100. Expensive suit. I don't know what brand is. It looks expensive. Expensive shirt. Jewelry at the neck. Dude, if you come like this in Romania, it's going to be like $100 a taxi. You can be Romanian. It doesn't even matter that, oh, well, I'm Turkish. Okay, first of all, your ethnicity is not on your fucking forehead. Like, most people will assume that you're white, period. Alright? Like, I know you're into left-leaning identity politics and you believe that, oh, well, people care about. No, they don't. Like, if you come into Romania, you can integrate. Like, you look 100% Romanian. Like, I'm sorry, Hassan, you're an honorary Romanian. Like, people would not be able to tell the difference. But with that out of the way, what they can tell difference is that you're high class. All right, like you are considered to be extravagantly wealthy just by the way you dress here. I don't even know the shoes, but I'm willing to bet if I look at the shoes from extravagantly wealthy, it's going to be very extravagantly wealthy. So tips for Americans. When you go in other places, never dress like this. Ever. Right? Like, especially if it's a place where, If it's a place like Mexico, if it's a place like Romania, if it's a place where, you know, most people try to flee from poverty, as the Democrats like to say. If that's the case, do not dress extravagantly. It signals to everyone that you have cash. And if you have cash, then you can afford $50 per taxi. Did he go there to make the Mexicans look white? I've no fucking idea. V, give fashion advice? What an oxymoron. It's not fashion advice, for fuck's sake. I mean, it kind of is. But it's most likely like dress like I'm dressing right now if you don't want $50 taxi payoffs. Jesus. Old wealth taken by dead cold hands of Armenia. Right. So, now that we got this out of the way, let's see what other mistakes he did. Holy shit, this is like... He can make a channel. Hassan Piker Travels Advice. How not to. So, then he got mad at me and started yelling. Like, okay, you're stranded. Are you calling me a crook, etc.? Yeah, like, by the way, this is something that they do. Like, why do you think people put up with this shit? And by this shit, I mean, like, expensive cab fares. It's because they know that if you talk about it, if you give them anything snark, they're going to start yelling and you're going to go away. Like, this is normal. I just... It's the same shit in Romania. Like, in Romania, you have, like, taxi drivers, and they have, like, the same way that an Uber driver taxes you. Like, they have this application, and as you're driving with the car, the application goes up and up and up. They refuse to turn it on, and they will flat out say, oh, you want me to go a mile? Okay, that's $50. For a Romanian, that's a lot, right? And they only do it in 3 cities. They do it in the capital, they do it in Constanța, which is a port city, and they also do it in Cluj, which is a leftist city. So, like, they will try to swindle you out of every single penny, right? So most people don't use taxis because of that. I genuinely, like, do not even know how they manage to find customers, but it is what it is. I know I can't do shit because I don't know shit in Mexico. Wow, Hassan. Well, that's very progressive of you. By the way, another traveling advice. When you go to a foreign nation, even if it's like a small business trip, it's good to know the language. Now you're not going to know the entire language, but at least a couple of words, right? Like, if you go to Japan, don't expect people on the street to speak to you in English. At least cops don't have guns. Wow, that is the most interesting takes. Yes, at least cops don't have guns. Do you know who has guns in Mexico? The cartel. I hope you're not going to scream at them, Hassan. Like, I hope to God you're not going to start yelling at them. Is Uber good here? I don't know. And by the way, like, this is a millionaire complaining about $70. Like, let's put it into fucking perspective, right? Like, he's not a poor individual. Like, I would understand, like, if a random American, like Zephyr goes to Mexico and they charge him $70 for cab fare. I would understand, you know, like, he's upset about it. He's like, God damn it, you know, like, this is not okay. But it's fucking Hassan. Come on. Come on, just pay the $70, dude. Oh, it's probably the principle of the matter, isn't it? Like, what do you mean pay a super chat? I'm not going to pay a super chat. That's a red super chat. You know when's the last time I saw a red super chat? Hassan needs to take on Sam Hyde already. Oh my god. When I go to the border of Mexico, I start speaking English and start speaking Spanish to prevent problems. It's usually like if you know the language, you're already going to get like people listening to you. Especially like during borders and places like that where there's obviously some cultural friction. Like it shows that you're trying to assimilate and blend in. He is a fucking millionaire. Yes, like he's got a $3 million mansion. Like what are we talking about? It's probably $9 million now, adjusted for inflation. Yeah, greedy capitalist. Probably the millionaire is probably looking at the cab drivers like, oh, these greedy capitalists are like robbing me for $70. Only traffic police do not use weapons, but Policia Municipale Federal Servicio Armada Guardia Nacional, all criminal. La Federales, yeah, la Federales don't carry weapons. Hassan the millionaire doesn't want to help a poor Mexican cabbie. Yeah. You know, like, it's kind of funny. You got, like, these YouTubers like Mr. Beast, you know, he goes around and gives, like, oh, here you go, $10,000. And the cab driver starts crying. Hassan Piker, 50 bucks? No, 70 bucks? What are you talking 70 bucks? The other guy offered me 50 bucks. Why are you shouting at me? Yeah, look at this. You're a part of a union. You need to give me 50 bucks. What did I say? I just read, wait, who posted that I have read? Someone in the chat talked about, like, who has guns, and I read it out. I can read Spanish! Why are people so shocked? I read Spanish, I read German. I know a little bit of English. Emmanuel Castellanos. That's who I read from. From Emmanuel Castellanos. He literally said, only traffic police do not use weapons, but Policía Municipal, Federales, Erigio, Armada, Guardia Nacional, all criminals. What is that? I read the man out. My abuelita watched telenovelas. I know these things. It is known, Khaleesi. It's... Yes, I can read. Yeah, habla español, señor V. Sí. I can read Portuguese. Can't understand the word spoken. I can read Italian too. Anyway, right. But I'm really good with German though. Our 6 out of 10. Hey, listen. I always said this, you know, even when I was at med school. It's not the doctor that learns the stuff and then gets a 10. No. It's the doctor that doesn't study shit and gets a 5. That's the one that you should respect. Why do I add the S? Because it's cool. It is federales, isn't it? Is it federal or is it federales? Is it agente federales or agente federal? I think like it actually matters. It depends on how you speak it, right? Like if it's agent federal or no, sorry, it's federal if it's without the agent, but it's agent federales. Huh? Is it like? Only a certain type of people understand German. Shut up. Então entende português. Now in Romania. Is it? Did I manage? Huh? Did I? I don't know. It's federal. Agentes federales. There we go. See, I was right. Wie, du kannst doch kein Wort Deutsch. Warum sagst du das? Huh? If I say Wünsche mit seiner Mutter ficke, is that like a curse according to YouTube? I think it is because they can translate it, but it's fine. Seine Mutter. Sehr schönes Mädchen. Hmm? Anyway, we're diverting from the actual topics at hand because there's more. Apparently, oh, hold on, like the adventure continues. 2 different customs and border patrol people and a taxi guy so far. Mexicans are more Turkish than I previously thought, but like you can see that he's a little bit upset due to the misspelling. I don't know, like maybe he's got chubby fingers like I do, and when you're pressing the buttons on the phones, you accidentally make mistakes. So he pressed the. Dude, I is really far from G. Like I think he was just angry. I paid $70 American for a cab. Oh, so basically, no, this is like why it's fucking hilarious, right? So like the guy that offered him the opportunity to drive for $55 wasn't good enough. So then he started arguing with the guy with 70 and eventually actually went with the guy with 70. Naruhodo. What do you mean you had nothing left? How much money did you manage to take with you, Mr. Millionaire? You're fucking Bruce Wayne of Twitch, and you managed to like remain without cash because like what, like $70? $1,000 tax for $1,000 worth of electronic equipment. They taxed me 3,500 pesos. Yeah. I bet that the people who cross the border illegally don't have to pay this taxes, son. Number 1. Number 2, I bet if America would have done a similar thing, You would have been livid, right? Like if America would have done a similar thing, you'd have said, "Oh my God, racismo, oh racismo." But now you notice how other countries behave. Like, why do you think they tax you for electronics? To make money. Like, literally, they're leeching off Americans. Why? Because they can. How much is 3,500 pesos? Let's see how much money did Hassan lost. So pesos to USD. There is no fucking way this guy is this cheap. Come on, Hassan. Come on. Oh my God, 200 bucks. I mean, I guess that's a lot. But like when you travel, you know, like you travel to another country, you need to expect these expenses. Like this is not an expense that caught you by surprise, or at least it shouldn't be. You know, like the taxes don't go like peekaboo. No, it's more like you should do your fucking research. Like, I'm willing to bet if you go on a forum on the internet and you're like, okay, so I want to travel to Mexico, like, what do I need to take into account? And there will be people like, okay, so you got to the border, right? And when you're at the border, they will be like, can you show us your electronics? So if you bring this and this and this, it's going to cost you this much. You can't go 5 miles in a Chicago cab for 70 bucks. Yeah, like, that's what surprises me. Like, for a Romanian, 70 bucks is a lot. But, like, for Hassan Piker, it shouldn't be that much. And considering that in America, taxis are even more expensive. I mean, like, no, let's just, hold on. Let me show you why this bewilders me so. Hassan Piker, sports car. Alright? Like, look at this. Alright. So, I can see why this gentleman is complaining about 70 bucks. Hassan claps back at Twitch haters after buying $200,000 Porsche. Like, you know, if Ben Shapiro would have bought a $200,000 Porsche, I would understand due to the ideology, but this is the guy, it's like, oh yes, eat the rich. I'm not sure you want to eat yourself, man. I'm suggesting that maybe you should change your motto into join the, or become the rich. But yeah, like this, and he got this by talking socialism on streams, right? Which is fine, but like now you're going to Mexico and you're complaining about $70 cabs? Like, really? We're at that level? I mean, I guess, sure. I don't know how it's a clapback. I have no fucking idea. That thing is more expensive than my house, by the way. You wouldn't eat him? But like, that's what he wants. He wants you to eat the rich. The mask. Well, this was like during peak COVID, so I think he was like forced to wear it. Like, I don't think he could have not worn it. And if he did not wear it, then he would not be able to afford the $200,000 Porsche. Yeah, literally textbook champagne socialist. Like, if you look at the definition of champagne socialist, you should see a picture of Hassan Piker. Like, it should be required. Those shoes are 5,000? Get the fuck out. Are they? No fucking way. Chat. Oh my god, if I had more than 300 people, like I remember when I had the power of the chat, like back when I had like 700 viewers, I would ask like, can you guys find me how much these shoes cost? And like someone would bring it up. But are these actually like $3,000? I don't know. That would be hilarious though. They don't look even that, the reason I'm willing to believe is that they look like shit quality. So like usually with shoes, the more expensive they are, you pay for the brand. But like, the quality is really bad. Like, the more expensive... So like, the thing with shoes is like this. The cheap ones are shit. But then, as you pay more and more and more, you get to like better quality. And after a point, it's like a diminishing kickback. And the more money you spend for the shoe, the less quality it gets. So like, the most expensive shoe is also just as shit as the most cheap shoe. So you want to aim for somewhere in the middle. A red and black Jordan are the most sought after Jordan shoes. Okay, they're Air Jordans. So the Jordan shoes are crazy expensive. They're 500 euros minimum. Oh, fuck off. That's all you pay for when you go into the 4-digit price range. Literally. Like, the only reason you would buy something like that is if you want other people to know you're rich. which is a really bad thing to do if you want to travel to a different country, like Mexico. You don't want people to know you're rich. Unless you want to spend a lot of money. Like, if you want to spend a lot of money, if you want to see people, how they switch the prices in the window the moment you approach. Like, you have this aura around you, which is aura of expensiveness. And as you're walking by, literally every merchant is just like flipping the prices from $10 to $100 just because you're there. Sure, you know, if you want that, then dress extravagantly. Don't let me stop you. But if you want to be treated the same like everyone else, and you don't want to pay the gringo tax, as Hassan Piker puts it, then just dress less expensively. And by less expensively, I mean like myself, okay? And by that, I mean nothing with your hair. Don't even fucking comb it. Don't cut it. Don't nothing, right? Like, people look at me, they think that I can't afford it. Messy shirt. Like, the shirt coloration. Like, this is very important. The coloration of the shirt needs to not be bright. If it's bright, it means it's new. If it's new, it means you had money to buy a new shirt. If you had money to buy a new shirt, you have money to pay $70 for cab. I'm not kidding. Listen to me. I know it sounds weird, but you're American. I'm telling you how the real world is like. Alright? You want a shirt that looks not too dirty, right? Like, you don't want people to actually believe that you're insane or something. But at the same time, you also want the shirt to look like its coloration has left. Like, it has gone through the wash cycles many times. Like, you have worn it for many months because you can't afford a new one. Yeah, like, you don't wear a $1,000 shirt. I'm teaching you how to behave in the world, Americans. Like, listen to me. This is how you travel. I don't know why I think it's funny, but it's like, I'm 100% on the money, aren't I? Like, literally, like, you need to put yourself into the mindset of living paycheck to paycheck as a person from Mexico, not as a person from the United States, alright? Which means you don't have money for new shirts all the time. You don't have money for hair product. Like, I mean, who the fuck has money for hair products? What, like, you think you're part of the cartel or something? Like, no. You're a normal average person. You don't have money to do your hair. Like, doing your hair is a luxury. Okay, so if doing your hair is a luxury, then everything else flows from that. That needs to be your thinking. What is the local mood about the drone crash? I didn't even know it happened. Like, dude, if it was like a plane that crashed, I would understand. A drone is small. Who the fuck cares? I'm actually going, like, after this, I'm going to look into the drone crash, because a lot of people keep asking me about it. Oh, if you want to show you're poor, you know what you do if you're a woman? Do I have any girls in the chat? Are there women here? There must be women. Listen. You know how women have like those hair accessories? Hold on. I'll show you in a bit. Okay. So, women have these things. It's one of the cheapest ways to hold your hair, right? So you have like these things, and you put them in your hair. Now, if you want to show that you're poor, you take one of these and you put it as a bracelet, right? Like you don't have money to afford jewelry. You understand this? And it actually looks pretty. It looks very pretty. Like if you're a girl, let's say a teenager, 18, 22, and you have one of these and you wear it at your arm, it looks really cute. Right? It's kind of wholesome as well. This is what poor people do. Right? Like, never wear jewelry. Like, if you're wearing jewelry, don't use these either. Like, these look expensive. Use these. Good. I told you. I grew up in a neighborhood with people from all walks of life. Another thing you can do as a girl... Oh, my God. Like, this is... Alright, I'll give you another example. So, shoelaces. They're important. Look, ladies, I will teach you how to make jewelry East European style. Right, so shoelaces. Black ones. You need black ones. Okay. If you have a shoe you don't use, you take the shoelace, you tie it behind the back, and you put it around the neck, and it looks like a cute collar. Looks like a necklace. It actually looks good. I'm not kidding. Like, as long as people don't know it's shoelace. Like, you need to make sure that you cut the extremities and that you unite it. And it looks like a really cute accessory that you can wear around. I'm not kidding. Like, it actually looks good. I'm not talking about choking yourself, ladies. I'm talking about, like, actually just, kind of look like a golf thing. Yeah, it looks good. Like a choker. Oh, my fucking god. Yeah, it looks like a choker. Yeah, so it looks, yeah, like exactly. Oh, hold on. It looks like this. Like, literally, if you are talented and you know how to pull it off, it's going to look like this, but without the little stone. So you can do this with shoelaces. It looks like a choker. Right. There you go. And if you do this, I guarantee to you, I fucking guarantee to you, no taxi driver is ever going to ask you for $70. There is no fucking way that they're going to look at your face and they're going to be like, there is no way. No way in hell they're going to ask you for $70 a camera. Like, they automatically know that you have never seen $70. Your parents haven't seen $70. You don't even know they exist. This is outside of your price range. They did that in prison? Oh, I see. But, like, this is what I wanted to tell people. Like, when you travel somewhere else, you need to look poor. If you don't want to be swindled. Like, even scammers aren't going to bother with you. You have a scammer that's, like, trying to do something, and they look at you, like, this guy doesn't have, like, enough money for the scam. It's a waste of time. Like, if they go to scam you, they will waste time. Like, they could scam someone else. Overdressed women are an immediate ban because of what it implies. V has the most obscure knowledge known to man. It's not obscure. No, you can do the nails. Nails are fine. Like this is another thing, right? Like when you're a woman, especially like if you act too poor, like people will say that, oh well, this, like, she may be rich and she's might doing like what V told her to. Like let's charge her anyway, right? So like you don't want to act like too poor, like it's like if it's a science and you read the lecture from home. No, like you need to know how to mingle it, like a little bit poor, but like, so for example, nail polish, every girl does nail polish, right? So like, nail polish is like what? It's incredibly cheap. You can share one bottle with your sister, like that is okay. You need to use nail polish. Don't use for your feet though, just your hands. Just your hands, not the feet. Too much nail polish. Don't want to waste it. What about scamming the scam? You can't scam the scammer. There's no way to scam the scammer. Like, if you can find one, let me know. But, like, it depends. Because, like, the scammer can't... The reason you can't scam the scammer is because, like, they prepare for that. Like, they have knowledge. They charted the terrain. They thought about it way more than you have. So, the only thing that you can do is to try to avoid them. And especially, like, from your point of view, there's a lot of scammers. From their point of view, they saw a lot of people that they can be scammed. So, anyway, Hawaiian shirts are perfect for all occasions. No, Hawaiian shirts aren't. If you wear a Hawaiian shirt, that's a dead giveaway. Again, you want the shirt that looks like mine, okay? Decolorated. Like, it's lost its color. It's lost its life. You've been wearing it for like 4 or 5 months. Poor people do not buy Hawaiian shirt because they don't work at every occasion. Poor people, like myself, buy a shirt that they can wear on many occasions. You can wear this at home, you can wear this when you go out, you can wear this if you have guests, you can wear it all the fucking time, right? Yeah, a plain shirt. People without money, the Hawaiian shirt is expensive. It means that you can only wear it in certain situations. You're not going to wear it when you sit in your house, are you? Now, you're not going to wear it when you're talking to mama over dinner. I mean, you can, I guess, but it looks weird, doesn't it? You can't wear it in the winter, right? So no, like you want a shirt that you can always use. Same with the shoes, same with everything. Yeah, wear clothes that don't have any branding. Yeah. No fanny pack and you won't get beaten up. Just like in the school. Anyway, right, let's see what else he did. Hold on. So, did he do tax evasion? So for $1,000 worth of electronics, they taxed me. They just made up a number. And I was like, I'm going to show you the receipt. And I tried to explain to him that is like, you can't take your phone out to show a receipt. If you take your phone out, the fine is 16,000. He scammed. Oh my fucking god. So did he am I understanding this correctly, chat? Am I understanding correctly? He hid the phone so that they don't see that it's an electronic that they could tax. Why else would they find him? This is how I understand it, right? So like, when you cross the border, I may be wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But like, when you cross the border, according to my understanding, they will look for your electronics and they will tax you based on what electronics you have, right? So if he probably hid his phone because it's expensive so that he doesn't pay tax for that. And if they would have found his phone, it would have been a $16,000 fine. Am I understanding it? Or like, what else would he have to pay $16,000 for? I may not understand this. Yeah, I don't think he declared it. I think, well, it was probably expensive. Semi-right? Like what is going on here? Because I don't understand, like, why is he talking about $16,000 fine for showing his phone? You're not wrong. If there wasn't a law against that, people would just drive past the border, buy cheaper stuff, and resell it in the United States. Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay, so that makes sense. Oh, no, Ibiad, like, why have a tax like that? Under what justification? And as Orex says, if there wasn't a law against that, people would just drive past the border, buy cheaper stuff, and resell it in the United States. That makes sense. Yeah. So basically, what I think happened is that he hid his phone, and then when the travel agent, when the border patrol went and said, this electronic costs this much, he was like, no, it doesn't. Like, I have the receipt right here. But in order to bring his receipt, he would have to show his phone. And if he would have shown that he had his phone hidden, it would have been a $16,000 fine for smuggling. Because if you're like, okay, no, like, I get it. Like if you're at the border and they have to check certain things, like they're asking you, like, can you show us blah, blah, blah. Normally, they don't search. Unless they want to. But, like, most of the time, they take your word for it. But like, if you go with your word for it and you're hiding stuff, that's smuggling. Like, that's contraband. It doesn't matter if you want to sell it or not. Like, the simple fact that you had it and you didn't show it to the border. Yeah. No, it doesn't matter if he bought it in Mexico or not. That's the rule, right? Like because of the price variation, because certain things cost a certain way in the US and certain things cost a way in Mexico, there's probably like certain taxes so that you don't make a profit out of selling them. He probably looks an easy target. He probably does. I mean, like, if you look like the way he dresses, and you carry all this electronics with you, like, he thinks it's because he's a Turk. No, it's not because you're a Turk. It's because you look rich. I wonder if Hassan himself understands the fact that he is wealthy. No, seriously, I genuinely do. Like, there are so many wealthy people that think they are poor. Like, there was that actor guy claiming that he lives from paycheck to paycheck. And when you look, like, his net worth is in the hundreds of millions. I'm like, motherfucker, shut the fuck up. You're not living paycheck to paycheck. I mean, maybe you are living paycheck to paycheck, but you're basically living the life that only 1% of the planet is able to afford. Anyway, right, I'll leave it here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream, and I'll see you guys later.